Hey guys, so a really good friend of mine who's in contact with people that know Brandy sent me this post, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So I'm gonna read it to you. So it says, Brandy update. The preliminary autopsy shows she died of natural causes related to her gallbladder. I also spoke with her longtime friend and neighbor and attorney today, who was the one who called 911. He gave me more details of her passing. She was having pain for a while, saw a naturopath days prior to her passing. Her son confirmed with me she was having stomach pains the day of her passing as well. And Brandy was not one to run to the hospital, especially during this crazy COVID year. The toxicology report will be back in 3 weeks. The green light for Brandy's family was received to order a private autopsy, so hopefully Tina Marie will take care of that soon. So there you go. There's another narrative to what's going on. Now, I wanted to give you this update because being her family and friends that knew her, I'm imagining it's unimaginable what's happened to them. To lose somebody and then, publicly, I'm not a grieving family member. I don't know what they're going through. I wanted to get their perspective out there too. Considering the videos that she put out a few years ago showing that she was being gang stalked, considering she wrote a post saying that if she was found dead, it was foul play. In my head, I was going by her wishes and what she wanted, because she was thinking if she were to be killed or found dead, it was foul play, and she didn't want the people to get away with it, which I don't blame her. I would be the same way. Now, this is one thing too. I don't know the situation with her family, and if her family even supports her and her anti-vaccine views. Because whether you guys know this or not, and I think a lot of you guys do know this, because this is why you're subscribed to this channel. When you're an activist, when you're outspoken, when you're going against the grain, when you're contrarian, a lot of your family and friends don't support you. They don't believe you. Some of them even think that you're crazy. I don't know anything about her situation. I don't even know if her family were to support the fact that she was gang stalked, or maybe thought it was ridiculous. Because I've even tried to tell my mom some things, and she supports me. Even with her supporting, she's still just like, oh, I try and tell my mom about censorship. She's like, okay, baby. It just seems it's way over a lot of people's heads. They don't understand how evil this stuff is, how much of a risk it is to be an outspoken person. I was looking at some of her old lectures and videos when she was speaking, and one of the things she was saying is when she, SB 277, that's when I first learned about Brandy, was SB 277. This is in California. I'm from California originally. I'm in Texas now, but California, they basically put forth a bill to take away the philosophical exemption. Now, I have to back up a little bit, because there are 3 exemptions in the United States for vaccines. So there's a philosophical exemption, there's a medical exemption, and there's the religious exemption. And they've taken away the religious and the philosophical exemption in California. And honestly, they've underhandedly taken away the medical exemption, so it's really hard to even get any exemptions in California. Thank God in Texas we still have all 3. We have a fierce anti-vaccine, army, thanks to Jackie Schlegel and the fierce people at I can't think of the name of the organization. I just know it's Jackie Schlegel. Anyway, they're fierce here. They're fierce. They are not playing here. But I digress. So anyway, that's when I first heard about Brandy. I started following her. I was in California at the time, and when they were trying to pass it, they actually had 50 people in support of removing the philosophical exemption show up. Guess how many people showed up that were against it? 700 people. 700 people. I watched the whole thing. I couldn't afford to go. It was too far. I wanted to go. I had friends that went. 700 people showed up in rejection of it, and they passed it anyway. So that's when I really started to be like, you know what? They're not doing this for the people. They don't care about the people. They're not listening to the people. And I think that was around the time too. She came out and she said she cried for weeks because she knew what she had to do. She knew that going against the pharmaceutical industry was going to put her in a lot of danger. You know, I think she was working there when the Vioxx scandal happened, and Vioxx, basically, there were people that were caught with Merck, and in emails were revealed basically saying any doctor that, you know, was critical of Vioxx, that they were ordered to go after their careers and destroy their careers or either physically kill them. So I wouldn't put it past them to do that. And knowing that, you know, how much is at stake, you know, knowing that there is an agenda to push this COVID vaccine to make it mandatory, and most people don't want to take it. Like I said in the other video, they basically, Yale did a study to manipulate people, to try and figure out how to manipulate people into taking the vaccine, because most people don't want to take it. There's been a huge surge in the anti-vaccine or vaccine critical movement because of people like Brandy, because of movies like Vax, because of other people speaking out and putting out information, and people able to put their vaccine injury stories online. Now, getting back to the family situation, you know, for some people, it's a double betrayal, it's a double trauma, not only to have a loved one die, but for them to even think about the fact that they were murdered. You know, it's very traumatic. So I would understand why maybe her family's not even ready to explore that possibility yet. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to even think about that being a possibility. Natural causes, you know, gallbladder is not, if your gallbladder ruptures, is not a natural cause. Your gallbladder ruptures because of a physical trauma like car accident, sports injury, infection, iatrogenic, pharmaceutical drugs. Your gallbladder just doesn't, you know, burst no matter what happens, right? So it's like, you know, I believe in cause and effect. So to me, I wouldn't say that that's natural causes, especially for somebody that was, you know, 47. And from what I know about what I've heard her say in her speeches, I know she was aware of GMOs and all that stuff. So I'm assuming she ate pretty healthy. But you know, in the videos where she's talking about she's been gang stalked, they're breaking into her house. So who knows? Could they be poisoning her? Could they be zapping her with something? I mean, this sounds far-fetched to some people, but you guys know, my subscribers know that this is something that's a reality. You know, the heart attack guns, who knows, right? So I'm waiting for the toxicology report to come back, but you know, maybe they killed her other ways by poisoning her. Who knows? I just think, considering what she did, the fact that she made a post, which I'm going to read in a minute, talking about, this was a year ago, but the video, I found another version of the video that was posted 5 years ago when she's talking about she's being stalked, but it's still relevant today because they were still doing it up until, you know, at least a year ago, but I mean, they're not going to stop. So I'm sure she was, you know, still getting harassed and stalked and threatened, and her phone's being tapped and all that stuff. And I just admire her so much. But you know, I remember I had a friend, I've talked about him on this channel, he died, and he actually committed suicide. And even when that was a fact, there were people that were even closer to him than I was that didn't even want that out. Even though he wrote a public letter saying goodbye to everybody, and if you read the letter, it was obvious that he, you know, killed himself. But even people knowing that that's what happened, they didn't want to like talk about it. So people grieve differently. You know, I understand that. I'm not going to judge the family or her friends for having this point of view. You know, I totally get it. And I also know when you lose somebody and they're like a public figure. I mean, we had people writing us, you know, messaging us, emailing us, being like, I have information that Liam was being messed with by space aliens. And we're like, yeah, that's not what happened, but okay. It was a little weird. But I also think that people were sincere and they want to help and they want justice, you know? And that's where I was coming from. with that situation. I mean, my opinion is it was foul play. But I'm going to read this, what she said. So, all right, here we go. Post Brandy Vaughan, December 1st, 2019. The post I wish I didn't have to write. But given certain sudden tragedies over the last couple of years, I feel it's absolutely necessary to post these 10 facts, and please screenshot this for record. So she's asking people to screenshot it. She's documenting this, you know. 1, I've never had any thoughts of taking my own life. Not once, ever, even before I had my son. 2, I have a huge mission in this life. Even when they make it very difficult and scary, I would never take my own life, period. 3, my son means everything to me, and I would never leave him, period. I have sole custody, and he needs me as much as I need him. I would never think of leaving him for a second. 4, I have never been on an antidepressant nor been diagnosed as depressed. Don't believe it if you ever hear anything like this. 5, I've never taken a daily pharmaceutical drug, and I haven't taken any pharmaceuticals in 10 years, and 10 years ago it was 1 pill a day. Nothing over the counter, nothing by subscription. In other words, I am not on anything that can kill me unexpectedly or suddenly. I have never done illegal drugs either, not even once. Okay, number 6. There's no way anyone can get into my house. No robbers, no angry exes, which I don't have, by the way. No fanatical people. My house is like Fort Knox, unless it was someone super professional. It just wouldn't be possible for anyone without highly special equipment and tactics, i.e. remotely taking down my high-level security system, which they have done before, unfortunately. But my space is also highly secure in a hardwired kind of way. So even if the power was out, most people could still never get in. 7, if something were to happen to me, it's foul play. And you know exactly who and why. Given my work and mission in this life, I also not accident prone. And I got the highest health rating possible when I went through a battery of medical tests a couple of years ago for my life insurance policy. 8, if something were to happen to me, I have arranged for a close group of friends to start a GoFundMe to hire a team of private investigators to figure out all the details. I have a team and passed info onto them. Oh, and money for a PR firm to make it national news. There would be a press release sent to every journalist in this country and more. It would not be swept under the rug, and it would be their worst nightmare. 9, there have been many on this mission or a similar one that have been killed, and it's time this bullshit stopped. The darkness can't win. Yes, there have been many people that have been murdered under suspicious circumstances. Number 10, I will never stop speaking out for those who no longer can, even if from the other side, where I imagine I would be far more powerful. Yes, Brandy, I believe that too. I have a team of angels surrounding me every step of this journey, but prayers of protection and love are always appreciated. So there you go. That's that other narrative. So there's a narrative that maybe it was natural causes, and then there's also the narrative that it was foul play. So, like I said, I'm gonna put donations in the bottom. There's a GoFundMe. I think I found the correct link, and then there's another. You can email a lady. I'm gonna put in the links for her son. There's another fund that's set up specifically for her son. If you want to support the family, pray for them. Pray for, their sanity. Pray for whatever you feel you need to pray for. Pray for justice. I mean, I want justice for her. Like I said, I still have the opinion that I have, but as for now, I'm just gonna let it rest. I'm making this, and I'll just be done with it for a while because, like I said, I'm not a grieving family member. I don't really know what they're going through, and if there were any more steps to be taken to, you know, bring justice to her if she was murdered, it's up to the family. There's nothing more we can really do. They would have to put that foot forward and make the decision to investigate this and push this out. I hope they do. I hope that yeah, I mean, oh, I know what I want to say. Another thing that I really admire her for, she was just somebody I thought you know, we're very, a couple of degrees separated from her, so I thought I would get to meet her one day, and I just think she was incredibly brave. She did something else too, I thought, which was just gangsta. I thought there was another guy in the anti-vaccine movement who I don't know, I had a gut instinct about him that he was an opportunist pretty much. And there was another, and then my other friend actually met this guy and was like, first of all, she's like, Overstein, come on. I was like, no, I'm like, something's off about him. You know how you get that feeling about somebody, you're like, something's not right. And then another one of my friends met him, and she was like, dang, you know, I met him, I talked to him, I think you're right, I think you're right. Then like a few months later, Brandy outed him, and that took a lot of guts for her to do too, because she got attacked within her movement. And I just got the sense that justice and truth was the most important thing to her. And, you know, and I can tell, like, she did like a whole like kind of Facebook Live where she was basically talking about the things that he had done, and he was basically just posting interviews and using you know, taking people's donations and money and not really doing anything more than that. And you know, which is unfortunate too, because the pro-vax lobby actually takes this guy and they use him as an example because he is a shady person. But I remember after that happened, I wrote her immediately and I was like, I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. And I just think that it took guts to do that too, because as there are people that get mad at me for calling out people on our side. I think that sometimes those are the people you need to call out the most, because, you know, those are the people that can do the most damage because they're closest to you. But she was gangster, like she was OG, she was legit. I really believe that. And also, oh, I'm also gonna put a link for her learntherisk.org. Join her page, join her, get her her email, her, what do you call it, her website. Look at some of the videos on her YouTube channel, Learn the Risk, as well as, you know, I'll just put everything in the links. But man, she also would raise money, you know, to inform people, and she had these billboards down that were just popping up all over California. And she had a billboard that was in I think it was Senator Penn's district. And he got mad and he had it removed. She'd take pictures of people, babies that had died from SIDS, and be like, learn the risk, and it would get people thinking. They were really effective. It was a really smart idea, really effective. And they were making news, they were making press, you know, it was causing a lot of controversy, but it was getting people to wake up and question things. And they removed that billboard, but then some truck drivers volunteered to actually have it pasted on the side of their truck to get the message out. I mean, it was just, she was making moves. It was just great. So anyway, y'all, that's it. Like, I hope this answers some of your questions. We'll just wait to see what happens. Like I said, I'm gonna let it rest. I'm gonna leave all the links just for you guys to you know, explore, donate yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Many prayers to her and her family, her friends. I know this is devastating. And yeah, all right, guys. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Peace, truth, love. Bye-bye.